What we were talking about, this is the fiber we use. You can see, everybody, I'll pass it around if y'all want to see how fine it is. It's actually thinner than human hair.
Synthetic down.
So,
Synthetic down, that's a good one.
That's neat.
That's cool. And you just drop the bag in the truck?
Yeah.
Right, the bag?
yeah, whole bag. A lot of the products we get have dissolvable bags. We have
One bag per what?
one bag per yard.
So you say
Yeah.
you drop the bag in, literally just drop the
Yeah,
bag
and we
in.
throw the whole bag in. After, when he was out there washing the truck down, when he pulled out, he would have thrown fiber in then if he wanted, just bag and all. And while he's mixing, it'll bust the bag and it'll disintegrate, melt away in the water. So,
If, say these tests that you ran on that load of concrete, what happens if it's not in spec?
well, it depends. If it like the air was way off, if it's too low, then I can get some air right here and put in. I'll call the plant, let him know, hey, bump the air up a little bit on the next truck. If it's too high, we can always go back, pull the truck back underneath the plant, load a little bit more material on top of it. The more material you put on as far as cementitious and flash, it'll generally knock the air down a little bit. If it's too high, we throw it away. Slump-wise goes the same way. If it's a little high, we can go back under the plant. Say it's say this was a 7-inch slump. We could pull it back underneath the plant. I could load a yard on top of it with no water in it, and then that way it dry the whole load up and get it back in spec. So, you know, if we load a 9-yard load and we get it too wet and we put a yard on top of it to send to you, we don't charge you for 10 yards. You only get charged for 9 because that was our fault in the beginning. So you know you get a bonus, but.
So you're taking your samples for a highway project. I know this is not related to us, but a highway project, everything looks good now, and have you had it test out improperly later, like after you run your cylinder
It
test?
could be. It could. 99% of the time, it's usually in somebody putting too much water in it or somebody mishandling the cylinders.
Yeah.
So, and in that case, if that happens, then we have to go in and run a remedial test.
Yeah.
Whether it's a Swiss hammer. A Swiss hammer's a device. I got one in the truck, I think. That it's got a plunger inside of it, and you push it down, and it's spring loaded, and when it gets to a certain point, it releases and it bounces.
Yeah.
The more times it bounces, the stronger the concrete is.
Yeah.
But it's only good when it's real smooth, like this trowel concrete. Out here where it's rough, it wouldn't do good. We also have a Windsor probe. A Windsor probe shoots a steel pin into the concrete. The deeper it goes in the concrete, the weaker the concrete is. Then if that's not accepted, then we'll have to go to coring, where we'll get a machine with a diamond core barrel, and we'll actually drill a core out of the concrete. Like this, if you want, and drill that core, and they'll trim it off, and we'll put it in the machine and crush it. And then it has to be at least 85% of design for cores, because of the whole process of coring. It generally weakens the core a little bit. So sometimes it depends. We've even seen it having to do a load test. Well, they'll actually have to come in and put a certain amount of tons of weight on the structure. If it's an auger cast pile for a bridge or something like that. So
when you run a core, you cut it to a certain length or something?
yeah,
So you
yeah.
have a consistent test on it?
And if it's supposed to be a 2-to-1 ratio, twice the length of the diameter. If it's shorter, you can get by with a 1-to-1, but then you have a reduction. So if you break it and it's 4,000, it might only be 3,500 with that reduction. So.